What's up, guys? Look at another video. And today we'll be talking about Final Fantasy 15 units. They've not been changed, so there's no reason to compare them. But for people who don't know who Noctis is or anything like that, this is what we're gonna go over. So this team art is actually pretty good. I really wish this would have been one thing that did get changed, because the 40% magic part is not really necessary on him. He does have something of a hybrid move, but it's really not necessary. You're never going to use it, so the magic portion of this is wasted. But there's 30% limit burst damage, which is very nice. So, and there's a little bit of confusion with this one. Very high attack, of course, and also MP. But when you go here, it says Crown Prince Noctis, but it doesn't specify here in the effect as only for him. I don't know why it has this. Because it doesn't say down here that's only for him. So I'm still not so sure if it's only for him or not. I mean, maybe it is, but it doesn't say here. Usually it would say here can only be used for him or something like that. So I think that just might be like a name for the effect or something. But maybe if it's only for him though, that's unfortunate. And it still has a high attack sword, but you'd rather have something else other than that if it doesn't work for anyone else. So, anyways, let's move on. Decent weapon selection. You'll be able to take advantage of any of those weaponry. So, other than maybe throwing weapons, everything else is probably pretty solid in your inventory. Moving on. Here he gets his FFBE, or latent ability, that he would have had. It's not very good, but he has it now, so maybe he'll get better latent abilities in the future. He kind of needs it. And you guys will try to start figuring out, yes, he's basically Regina 2.0 with higher mods, and also a chaining limit burst, just like Regina, except unfortunately for Noctis, his chaining is proprietary only for himself. So you'll not be able to use his limit burst to chain with anyone else. You can still use him as a finisher, as a singular finisher, with using this move at least. Point blank warp strike. You'll be able to use that as a finishing move at least. So there's that. If you want to use him just as a finisher, as a chainer though, he requires a lot of babysitting. And a lot of people said, oh, you can just use Fidge or Ignacio, bruh. Like, come on, bruh. Are you really gonna bring Ignacio to a hard trial, or where are you gonna fit him in? Where's he gonna go? Fid is more acceptable because, I mean, at least she can get breaker and stuff, but Ignacio, bruh? Really? No. Not really gonna happen too often. I can't say it's gonna happen too often. And sure, I was trying not to sniffle this whole time and I ruined it. Sorry, guys. Anyways, but yes, his limit burst seems kind of weak at the beginning, but remember you're adding all these modifiers and things. He has some modifiers already in his passives, but remember you're adding all these modifiers. Due to Warp Strike, and also Warp Strike gives 150% limit burst damage. So that's going to be incredibly strong. The modifiers are only for Warp Strike, by the way, but in the end, you're having all these killers equipped to you, and also you're filling a limit burst, because so you need to use the finishing. You need to chain. You need to chain the one-hit move on your first turn. Like, there's no choice. If you're using two of him, you have to do it that way in order to get that limit burst filled. So, and that's really about it. He doesn't really have any limit burst damage innately, so you have to build him up that way. So hopefully you have a bunch of limit burst equipment laying around. Like the 4-star TMR, or Squall's STMR, or Shura's TMR. Shura's TMR. Yeah, Shura's a unit now. No, sure as a reward is also an acceptable thing, and also his team is just his own TMR. Yeah, just want to equip a bunch of his own TMR on. That's fine. Do I think that he is worth pulling for? No. Why? The current banner situation that he's on, it's just, I can't recommend for you guys to go for him. And I know a lot of you guys already said that you're not going to be pulling anyways. So, yeah, I don't think that it's worth pulling for him. But anyways, his rotation would normally consist of, really don't need to use his cooldown, but the 200% all stat buff would be nice to have still, so I'd probably lead off with the cooldown, and then just pick 3 of these ones that you would like to use, probably the killers only. Because there's no reason to use the one at the bottom, the sword of the wise. No reason to use that. Just equip all the killer ones that you would want or require, and then move over to point blank warp strike, and then chain those. It's not going to do much damage, but it will do something. So yeah, I think the reason why he's coming on this coming right now, by the way, guys, early, because his damage is going to be around the same amount as our current global units. That's why he's coming early, because if he came later, he would have gotten a buff, because his damage would be a lot lower. He was only getting in around 17-18 billion from JP side calculations. I mean, that could be lesser or better in comparison to that side. I don't know. That'll depend on equipment and such. So the more limit burst equipment you have, the better he's going to be. And that's just how it is. So if you guys have a lot of limit burst equipment, you know, I think you're set. Oh, and also we should probably go over the one thing that he needs hybrid damage for, which, I mean, the magic and stuff for. Pretty sure it should be around here somewhere. Right, here it is. We were looking at the whole time. I was just looking at something else. The Quintcast 3. I mean, you're never going to use this. You're never going to use this. First of all, you can't even use it with your quintuple ability. You can't even use it with your double ability. So, very useless. You're never going to use it. Never use it. That's all I wanted to go over very quickly. And you're probably never going to use any of these things, but I mean, it does have a little bit of elemental resistance if you need to use it, which is okay. You just have the fish, but it's only for one turn, so you can't really use it reliably for anything. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go with a thumbs down. In total recognition, I think it's just a thumbs down. Just that the banner he's on, coupled with the units we already have on the global side that can do things that he can do basically better because they have imbues and imperils and already in their kit, like Eric or Agent Olive. She already has imperils and imbues in her kit already ready to go. She does not need babysitting in that regard. So that's why I don't think that his grade is going to be very high. Moving on. Lunafreya. I know a lot of people were wondering about her. People actually were going back and watching my old JP review back in the day. That's pretty old now. We're gonna go over her now. This TMR is very good. If you pull 2 of her, definitely get 2 of her TMR. I mean, no matter how many you pull, you want to TMR as many of these as you can. Because I've got like 4, I think now. I think I've got all 4 of these TMRs TMR'd, so it's really worth it. It's a very, very good accessory, especially for mages, because it does have a little bit of magic on it, but it has all its defensive stats. So, rest TMR is pretty good. Really only good for the elemental resistance though, not so much for the evoke damage. You're really not looking at the evoke damage. The evoke damage is more like a lore thing. Like a lore thing more than anything else. Because she is kind of like a summoner in the game, so Yeah, her STMR is really only for these resistances here, which are really good. So I was pretty happy to get that on the JP side. Anyways, as you might have expected, she is a support type unit, but also has some weird things about her. And she already gets her latent ability or FFBE off the bat, of course, that she would have gotten. And it's very useful, by the way. Covenant of the High Dream is one of the best abilities she has, and I use it all the time. But as you're seeing here, she's more of like a side healer, support type unit that I've used her as many times. I just don't really, for the most part, I don't really have room for her on my team when it comes to certain things, because there's just, when it comes to her kit, it never really came to needing anything in her kit too much. For Dark Visions, that sometimes when I need that water imbue, AoE water imbue, it's very nice. But other than that, I don't really see a need for most of her kit. Now there'd be another unit in the Final Fantasy 15, a raid banner, Regis. And most people on my channel already know how good he is. He is very good, and I use him a lot more than Lunafreya. But if you're a fan of Lunafreya and a fan of her kit, then there's no reason not to go for her. But again, we're gonna go over that the banner is just not very good. Banner is not very good, guys. So she does require Leviathan to be equipped to get more bonus stats. So as you're seeing here, she has 100% bonus stats when equipped with Leviathan. So you cannot ignore that. That's something you cannot ignore. So you need that. Otherwise, you can equip her however you want, like more limit burst equipment. And also, she has on her cooldown, she unlocks some singular elemental resistances and imperils, which is very nice. So basically, she imperils for the element that she's protecting against, but it's only singular, but it's 100%, so it's very good. She does have flood chaining, but I mean, really, who's going to be using that? Not very many. And limit burst is probably the one thing most people are going to be looking at. Very nice full stat buff, 200%, which is very high, and also 80% resistances to those elements, which is also very nice. It's kind of like a nice compromise to her singular elemental resistances, where those were 100%, but it's only singular, whereas these are multiple, but there's only 80. So you see what I mean? Like it's a compromise. So I think that's about wrapping it up. Lunafreya is definitely the more interesting of the banner of the two, but again, we're gonna get into the point why you do not want to pull on this banner at all, especially if you already have bonuses. So just one moment, guys. We're gonna get into that, and we're back. So the reason why you do not want to pull it for this banner, I think, is very obvious. I went over my news video, but maybe if you didn't watch that and you just want to jump right over into the review, look at this. It speaks for itself. I mean, look at this. Do you really want to pull in this kind of a step up? I certainly don't. And if Gumi continues to make these kind of banners from now on, I'm definitely speaking up. So there was someone in my news video that said, like, oh, people should start speaking up like YouTubers and stuff. You guys know that I don't hold any punches. You guys know that I always say what I mean. I made 3 separate videos on albums bullshit back in the day, but anyways, so I'm never afraid to speak up. So I'll be the first in line if they make this bullshit banner again. This better be the last time it happens, because I will speak up, I will make a video about it, and you guys will hear about it. This is the reason why I recommend for you not to pull at all, and I'm hoping that you guys have some 5-star or even some 4-star Final Fantasy 15 units laying around in your inventory. I myself, I had 4 Promptos, I had 2 Ignises, I had 2 Gladios. That's 400% that I have now. I don't have to pull in this banner at all. At all. As you see here, they add no bonuses, and also, very quickly, Gentiana did not get any changes, but that's fine. She's still really worth it, because since she's 200% bonus, you're gonna get her anyways. You guys should be farming for Gentiana. I mean, if the shop has been changed, which I assume it is, I still assume that the shop has been changed. I can't check because of extended maintenance, unfortunately. I wish I would have picked different music. This is so much noise in the background that's... I don't know if it's actually going over my voice or not. But, all in all, I think that this banner is a skip. And this is coming from someone who's a Final Fantasy 15 fan. I'm a fan of this game, and I'm saying skip. So there's no biases there. If it was biased, I would have said pull, easily pull. This would be super easy pull, but no. Do not pull. I recommend not pulling. I know there's a lot of people who have been saving up for Noctis and everything. They wanted him as their next damage dealer, but just close your eyes for a second, and when I say open, open. Open. Surprise! Banner! Yeah, don't pull on this banner, please. This image right here is all you need to scare you away from this banner. It's like trying to scare someone. It's like trying to scare someone straight out of smoking. Like, just don't do it. Just don't do this banner, please. Do not pull on this banner to give me some positive data to make this banner again. Please do not pull to make a statement that this is not okay anymore. I am not pulling on this banner. You will not see a pull video on this banner. You will not. I promise you. I will not be pulling on this banner at all. With that in mind, guys, I still have to say, even though with my recommendation to pull, Lunafreya is the one to get. If you ignore what I said about this banner and you decide to go on it anyways, Lunafreya is the unit to pick. I mean, she's a very good support, and she'll be pretty good. Most people are probably gonna be more biased towards Sylvie still, or Ignis, because those are still two fine supports. But Lunafreya offers some things that they don't really have, or offer, or can do properly. So, then, mind, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Please consider subscribing to my channel and also liking. And leave the comment down below if you're with me on my side and you don't want to pull in this banner and you're going to take a stand and not pull in this banner. That's bullshit. Or maybe you're just going to pull regardless. That's fine. I'm not telling you. I actually am this time. I actually am telling you not to pull, but I mean, like, in the end, that's your choice. That's your choice. You still want to go for this, but you have to accept the consequences that this banner may return, and also that you may not get anything from this other than random rainbows, because it's not guaranteed. Anyways, with that out of the way, sorry guys, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.